Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on DBMS. Today we are going to learn about attributes. In our last class we studied that what are entities and what are entity sets. Today we will see what are attributes and how do we store them in table and represent them in ER diagrams. So now attributes are the properties or the characteristics of the entities. Let's see that in the diagram, in the table that we studied in our last class as well. So we have already seen that this is the entity set, and within this entity set, each and every row is representing an entity. That is, this row represents the entity, that is student 1. Next row represents another entity, that is student 2, and so on. We understood that each and every entity in this entity set is distinguishable from one another on the basis of the values of these common properties that they share. These are roll number, name, and age. Now these properties that each and every entity is sharing in this entity set, these are called as the attributes, right? So these are the properties or the characteristics of entities. Now we can see that over here each and every column is representing an attribute. So the attributes are represented in table by a column, right? However, in the ER diagram we can see this is the entity set, and this entity set is linked with the properties that each and every entity within this entity set is going to share. So now these attributes in ER diagram are represented using the oval or an ellipse. So we can understand that attributes are represented in ER diagram by oval or ellipse. Now there is one more important thing that we have to understand, that is, for each attribute there is a set of permitted values, right? So we say that this is an attribute. Now for this attribute we will have a set of permitted values. Means what? That this attribute, the roll number, can only have the values of type number, right? When we are storing the roll number, they can only be of number type. If I try to store within this column, if I try to store X, so I cannot do that because it is not permitted in this attribute, right? So these all values that we have within one attribute, these make up the domain of the attribute. This is actually the domain of the attribute, and within the domain of the attribute there is only a permitted values that can be allowed. Likewise, for the next attribute, that is name, this makes up the domain, that is all the values within this attribute, and within this domain we cannot have any value that is beyond text within the name. Likewise, in age, this is the domain, and within this domain again it is all the values are of number type, and that is what is permitted in this. So we cannot, if I want to over here instead of 17, if I want to include X, I cannot do that because it is a text type and this is a character, or we can say text type, and only number was permitted over here. So this is also important. Now in our next class we will understand that what all types of attributes are there. If I could help you with the understanding of this topic, hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for latest updates. Thank you.